Welcome back to episode 3, season 2 of Fever Dream Diaries, my friends. And, it's been a bit of a theme back of the twist of the season, if you will, was that you moved.
I did.
Early in our high school years. And even though that occurred, we stayed in touch nonetheless. And I really have to give credit where credit is due. And I think social media is really to thank for how we were able to stay in touch in the way that we were. Agreed. Myspace ruled our lives. Myspace ruled the world. And I can't wait to give a little more insight to the younger generations of what we had. We didn't know what we had when we had it, but it was an era that we look back on fondly. Before we do, though, should we get into our first note first, as if there's multiple? Don't worry, I'm pretty sure this is the only one.
Well, out of all these stack of notes, I did pull one out that maybe just relates to what we're going to be talking about.
Let's see. Becca always does. Okay. Oh, wow, it's just one-sided this time. That's rare.
That is rare. We must have been talking on MySpace.
Must have been. It starts, Bex. Well, since I haven't written you a letter in about 36.92 years, I decided it must be about time. Today marks 2 weeks that I've seen ya, and I just miss my girl so much. Everything around here is going pretty well, and luckily, I'm not working as much. That's sad that I was, working that hard at this age. I wish I could go back.
15.
I know that's what we talked about last episode, so I won't get too into it, but if I could go back and be like, don't work as hard, you're about to do that for the rest of your life, I think I would have, but I digress. How's Chunks? I'm so sorry again that you have to work with that nasty bitch. Oh, I wonder who that was.
I think I know exactly who it was. Do you want me to whisper it?
Oh, off the record. Please tell Pat the cat and the rest of the fam I say hello. I'm pretty sure summer is in about 3 months or so. First of all, I'm pretty sure. I think, that's easy to calculate, Haley. I just want to say, I know you must be just as excited as I. More chalk vandalism on the stone walls of Canongate? I think so. Oh, I can't read that because Hillary Duff taught us. That's not okay.
You didn't know yet.
I didn't know yet. Don't come at me. I say we break into Jane's house and kidnap her this summer with duct tape and cuffs and everything.
That's pretty risque.
That went a lot of different places.
So I think we chose this note when we were reading back because we were at this time just so obsessed with MySpace.
So obsessed.
That's why you hadn't written me a letter.
Exactly. Let's make it abundantly clear. Even though I wasn't writing back a letter, we were still communicating heavily. And I didn't get to see you as much, but at least we had that.
Oh, absolutely. And the amount of times that we spent at your dad's house specifically, just in that computer room.
God bless. Becca, could you maybe explain what a computer room is? Because I just think in 2024, you don't call it that. It's more like an office maybe someone has if they're working from home. But what was a computer room at this time?
That is so true because now I do have a computer room at my house and I just call it my office.
Right.
But it was usually the smallest room in the house, possibly a closet converted to an office. And it would be your room for hanging out. The computer room. There was nothing but a computer.
It's where you sat together. You were in chat rooms. You were on AIM writing away messages. You were on MySpace coding your whole page in this little room. And at my dad's house, that room still exists. I don't know that it's a working computer anymore.
Is it the same computer?
Yes. I doubt it would start up at this time, but should we try for season 3?
Can we extract the hard drive and see what we can find?
My dad is kind of a computer wizard. Not even kind of.
He fully is.
He's such a computer whiz, I can't even say how much because I think the government will.
Well, he alerted. He's hooked us up with an excellent, the speed of that router, let me tell you.
Oh my God, lightning speed. Thank you, my dad. Oh, I love my dad. But we digress. The computer room was a place where we really grew up.
Absolutely.
For better or worse.
Absolutely.
We'll get into more exciting things that we did on social media throughout the episode. But Becca, Speaking of social media, would you consider Reddit social media?
It's social. It's media.
Period.
It's a place where we all go to connect.
Wow, it really connects to us. And Becca's going to read another Reddit post that we have for everybody.
Yes, so this is from the Millennial subreddit, which we really love.
Yes.
It's relatable.
All of the posts are from...
Let's just be clear.
I haven't discovered Reddit enough. I did when my show came out on Netflix. I can't look at what they said about me on Reddit.
I was protective. I didn't like that subreddit.
Thank you. Oh, that makes me feel like people said mean stuff about me. You saying that you didn't like it.
I think that it was just a general, like, bashing of the show. It's not you personally.
That's disgusting.
And F all of those people. Like, Reddit can be a troll farm. For sure.
It's a bit of a troll farm, but we found some light in that tunnel.
This is a good one, so I will read it.
Okay.
Nostalgic for the days when social media was all about fun memories. Reminiscing the MySpace era of funny memes, music, and quotes. Today's landscape feels overwhelmingly political, negative, and soul-crushing. True. Opening Instagram or Facebook fills me with anxiety. It's a choice between encountering propaganda, enduring rants, or being bombarded by advertisements. I'm planning on leaving entirely.
God bless. I get it.
Yeah.
They're not wrong.
I mean, I agree. And we grew up in such a, like we said, wholesome era of the internet.
Right. And I gotta say, I think specifically election years are my least favorite time to exist on social media because there's a lot going on there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like Russian bots and just negative opinions.
The Russian bots, we've had enough.
So I'm thinking back to when we were a sophomore in high school, and we were not even really using Facebook yet.
Right. Like, at this point in our timeline, MySpace is still hot to trot. And for those who didn't have a MySpace, who weren't blessed enough, Becca, can you talk them through why we spent so much time on there?
Oh, I mean, is it just from the coding that we did?
Yes.
The amount of HTML code that our fingers have typed into a computer, it's out of control. We could just be coders now.
We should be. We should be the Russian bot.
Yes. That's actually a good idea. I am just shocked at how much time we put into beautifying our MySpace pages for it to not even be available anymore.
It's hurtful.
We can't even log in.
So that was the difference with MySpace versus, sure, I guess you could argue Instagram, you're posting your content, so maybe that's you designing it. But no, MySpace, you had full control of everything. You could add your very own song on your page.
Yep.
You could design everything. You added pictures and had albums and we're getting unsolicited messages. Not everything was perfect. We can't act like MySpace was a perfect safe world. But did you know that the cast of Jersey Shore was discovered on MySpace?
I had no idea.
I think that in itself describes what a beautiful land it was.
Is it true that Sammy and Ronnie were actually, maybe it wasn't Sammy, it was one of them was dating Ronnie before the show?
I didn't know that.
We'll have to dive in later.
Oh, we will talk Jersey Shore. Have no fear. That's good. We'll have to do some research about who knew Ronnie. But yeah, they all were discovered on MySpace, and I think that's just where we were at in time.
Yeah.
That's where you were getting discovered.
And what about our top 8?
Oh my, the top 8 was brutal. The top 8, for those who don't know, you would have friends on MySpace like you would on Facebook, but there was a ranking that you created on your page, and it started as top 8, but it kind of evolved, which is lame. Like, eventually they let you do top 16, top 32, which no one needs that many top people.
Or you could do top 4.
Top 4.
That really made sure that your circle was small and that they knew who they were.
Do you remember who your top 4 or 8 was?
Definitely you.
You were, yeah.
You're probably my number 1. I'm not saying probably because any other woman would be a top you, but it would be potentially my boyfriend in sophomore year might have gotten to number 1, and I'm sorry about that because that's fucking rude.
It honestly is really hurtful, and I don't even want to talk about it too much, but I very vividly remember, shout out to my sister Stacy, I feel like she got mad at me because she wasn't number 1 and you were, And that created a rift in our family.
There was a family therapy going on for a while.
We haven't spoken since, and it's really upsetting.
No, Stacey's at every event.
I know, Stacey. That's why I feel like I can bring that trauma back, because she is a diehard. And I'm sorry, Stacey, that you were not my number one. I'm sure she was in my top 8.
She also was a lot older than us. Why was she even on MySpace?
Stacey,
Sorry.
leave her alone, Becca.
I'm sorry. She was like the best big sister though, because I view her as a big sister. Sorry.
She is,
like,
yeah.
She was always just fun. Just a good fun
She'll
friend.
be elated to hear that. But yeah, I mean, top 8 really showed your friends where they stood. And that was important. I say bring it back. Instagram, here's my top 8 following. Bring it back. It's important to rank your friends.
Ooh, where would Instagram even show that?
I don't know, but they really need to figure it out, because Tom had something with MySpace. Tom
was everyone's first friend.
Was everyone's first friend. I don't think you could delete him. Could you?
No, he was the owner of MySpace.
He was the creator. He was our creator.
And if you don't remember Tom, he was like this handsome man with his shoulder turned, looking with his white tee. He's like coding, and he turns over to smile at the camera. And he's so friendly, and he would help us. He would have like coding seminars.
Did you go to Tom's little webinars?
I went to he'd have blog posts about coding. I swear to God.
It was a different time. It was a different time. And in the note that I read, obviously we touched on how I hadn't written you in a while, but there's also that part about the chalk vandalism at my mom's old apartment complex.
Yeah.
And I think we should give a wider view of that. It wasn't real. Can you vandalize with chalk?
No, because it literally melts.
The rain washes it away.
I don't know. I think it was because we were doing it every day. It was like a consistent thing in your neighborhood. People were like, who are the chalk vandals?
It was us. For anyone who lived in Canongate during this era, no, it was us you can blame. But the reason behind it was to have fresh content.
We were designing backgrounds for all of our photo shoots. We would then lay in the chalk, which is freaking gross.
It's not okay.
It's not okay. What did we breathe in there?
Oh, I mean, we can go down that list of chemicals we've ingested.
We were doing snow angels in the chalk.
It was strange.
Yeah.
It was strange, but that was another thing we would do when we hung out. Is it's important to create content for your social media. And the way that some things never change. Look at us now.
Look at us in these outfits.
We're here. Shout out to everyone quickly who came to our Y2K soiree. If you did, you might recognize these outfits, because we did wear these exact outfits to our wrap party for season 1.
That was such a blast.
And if you want us to have another event, maybe where you live, let us know.
Yes, the Y2K soiree was very full circle.
Oh my God. Shout out to everyone who came out, though. We saw some great familiar faces. It was really sweet to see people from high school come out and support us there.
Absolutely. We saw some people that we had not seen since high school at that event.
Yes, some people didn't go to the reunion, so they really came through for that. And we had it at Leda Lanes. If you know, you know.
That's all we got to say about that.
Right across the street from Canongate, where we were vandalizing the property consistently.
And we took so many photos that we're still using for our photo shoots. So
absolutely.
There you go.
Still inspo. The thing about me and Facebook, though, I was just such a diehard for MySpace.
Yeah.
I was passionate about it. And I think I was the last person in our high school to get a Facebook page.
Yeah, so we recently looked up when we both got our Facebooks, and mine was 06. I was an early Facebook adopter. I was showed it by my dad's girlfriend's daughter, who was older, so she was like, hey, if you want to be cool, you got to get a Facebook.
You're like, I'm already cool. I'm on MySpace.
I'm already cool. So she did get me a Facebook, and then you didn't get your Facebook for a whole nother year, Haley.
I didn't want to accept the fact that that was the new thing. I didn't want to. But one thing finally made me give in, and that was Farmville.
I didn't realize that was why you started your Facebook.
Dude, I was a number 1 Farmville supporter. Does Farmville still exist on Facebook? I feel like it must.
I imagine there are some very old and decrepit farms still left on Facebook.
If you're not familiar with Farmville,
Explain it.
It's a simple concept. It was a game on Facebook, or maybe still is, where you tended to crops and you grew your crops and you took care of your farm. You took care of your farm, and I took it to a different level. Like, I really committed to it to the point where I was waking up even earlier for school so that I could tend to my crop.
You were just again working so hard in every way possible.
It never ended. This is like a therapy session where I need to unpack how I've just never stopped. Like, I was playing Farmville, but before that, I was on my Neopets train. And I think that's where the addiction began, Becca.
Same. And if we could still find our Neopets and see how they're doing.
I mean, they're probably thirsty.
They're hungry. They're close to death.
We're going to find our Neopets after this. If you're really too young to understand Neopets, let me break that down for you. What would you call the creatures, Becca? I guess you'd call them Neopets, but I guess you could compare them to Pokemon?
Yeah, like mythical creatures that they invented. There would be like unicorn adjacent type of creatures.
So you'd have to take care of them. You could play different games to, get tokens.
The negs.
Oh,
Is that bringing you back?
That's bringing, I was worried about
the negs. The colors. So just to paint a picture, Neopets needed their eggs.
Neggs. Just to be abundantly clear.
We're not negging you all. This is a real thing. Negs. And you would play games to win negs.
Mm-hmm.
And then those negs would have food, water, clothing, gifts for your Neopets.
It was really wholesome.
Your Neopet loved when you give it gifts.
Oh, who wouldn't?
There was like a score for your Neopet that was like out of 100 of its happiness. So we were like addicted to our computers from a young age because we just wanted to make sure our Neopets were happy.
Exactly. Like, I have such a very specific memory of being in like the 4th grade and logging on to take care of my Neopets after school, like being so on it. And that high came back when Farmville came into my life.
I remember being like in 4th grade listening to Black Eyed Peas, like Where Is the Love, and playing Neopets. It was just a time to be alive. And I feel bad for Gen Z. They don't get this purity.
I know. It's so pure. It really is so pure. Now, like, we have TikTok and things like that, which I think are cool. Like, I just think if TikTok existed when we were that age, it would have been just trouble for us.
Oh, thank God it didn't. Thank God. Thank God for us. For ourselves now, that doesn't need to exist.
Yes,
absolutely not.
Mental stability. But, we were playing Farmville, or I was. We were doing Neopets, but we also liked to play games together, Becca.
We did.
And Sims. Sims is still going strong, right?
I imagine there's like updated versions for today's modern world.
Wow.
But the woohoo. Does everyone remember the woohoo?
The way me and Becca, I don't know that we play together sometimes, but I think we also came to the conclusion that we were making our Sims have sex as much as possible.
I was probably doing that like alone.
And it was called woohoo. I know. Did you do that with your Barbies too?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, thank God.
When you smash them together.
Oh my God. Our Barbies were so unwell.
They didn't have genitals.
No.
And neither did the Sims. But we loved it. We were horny.
We like were and we weren't. Like, I think we were curious.
Curious is a good word.
Yes,
for it.
We were certainly curious. If I wasn't making my Sims woohoo, I was setting their house on fire. It was one or the other.
Honestly more fun.
It kind of
that was the funnest part.
One extreme or the next. I haven't played Sims in a minute. Did you play any other games on the computer?
Always the Disney Channel games, like
full fun.
The Kim Possible games. Also there was like SpongeBob games. Just anything that was on the computer that it was like, are your parents here with you? Yes. And
of course.
Yeah. You just agree and then you play whatever you want.
The way those websites could get away with just being like, are you 13?
Yes or
Do you have your parents? Like, who's gonna tell the truth?
That's like Instagram today.
It is. Oh, at least those things weren't like
hurting us.
Yeah.
For putting us out there in the world.
Instagram. I honestly feel for the younger generation who have to feel like they have to meet a certain standard on social media and stuff, because that's sad.
That's hard.
It's supposed to be fun.
And it was hard enough for us. Imagine now with all the pressure.
I just can't imagine. So I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. I'm so grateful for where we were born in this world timeline.
Oh, I thought you meant like Nashua, New Hampshire.
I mean, yes, because that's what brought us together.
But in this world, we were born at the right time.
I think so, because while we had social media, it wasn't too early.
Yes.
You know, and it wasn't too intense. Like, I didn't really get into social media until college. Like I said, I was just on playing Farmville. Like, I wasn't really...
You were definitely posting some photos, getting some likes.
Oh, yeah, well, that's why we had our content shoots for.
Absolutely.
But I think that past us really was just looking out for future us, because we're using all those for the podcast.
We are. And we can't wait to share those chalk vandalism photos. They are epic.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And if you missed pictures from the Y2K soiree, those are also up on our social media. Becca, why don't you give a shout out to all of our socials where people can follow us?
Yeah, so if you want to see some photos, go to Instagram. We are Fever Dream Diaries. TikTok, Fever Dream Diaries Pod.
Mm-hmm.
And Facebook, check it out. Fever Dream Diaries. Go back to the source.
Go to feverdreamdiaries.com for all things FDD. And next episode, we're going to get into one of our personal favorite topics, I would say.
Absolutely.
And that is something we bonded over, which is music.
Our favorite thing.
Going to talk about our favorite thing. With that being said, make sure you also follow us on Spotify, because Becca has curated an amazing playlist that really embodies our spirit. So if you want this vibe, if you want to listen to this, Spotify for the podcast, but also for the playlist. And last but certainly not least, we got to thank our friends at Black Owl Studios in Portland. Yay! They are producing this podcast. They are helping us, making us look more profesh. So we thank them so much, and we'll see you next episode.